Hi guys! Welcome to the third week of my video diary. I've been ill a couple of days this week, so I'm actually videoing this a day later than I was intending to. Again, this has had an impact on my word count, all sorts of things. Still going on NaNoWriMo. I've got through chapter 8 of Last Human Getaway. Secrets and Lies, which I was really struggling with last week. I'm pleased to say that one's got off the ground again. I'm on chapter 8 of that one as well, and weirdly, I'm also on chapter 8 of Heart of Magic. So it's just one of those weird coincidences when you're sort of doing all of the same things at the same time. Very different chapters, very different stories, it has to be said, but Last Human Getaway, as I said, I was on chapter 8. It's beginning to get into the things where things are happening. I feel like I do a lot of introducing characters. When you read it, it doesn't come across as, oh, and here's another introduction. Oh, and now I'm introducing you to this person. Oh, and now I'm introducing you to this person. But when you're writing it, it sort of does feel like that. So I'm getting to the bit where I've stopped introducing people and stuff's about to go down. So I'm quite looking forward to the next bit. It's interesting because I've changed the structure of how I write for this piece. Normally what happens is I have a scene in my head and the scene is probably midway through the story and I write the story out from that scene. This one started off as a prompt, in fact, and I started writing the prompt and it was a girl walking up the hill and her car had broken down and I stopped writing and I went, this doesn't feel like a short story, this feels like a novel, so I should write this. So I wrote a whole plan and it's actually chapter by chapter, which is very unusual for me. I don't often have the patience for plans. But it's very useful also because it means that I can put it away and then come back to it and go, oh no, that's where I was. And I'm really enjoying it. I think it's one of the things I've been more excited about writing, possibly because I know where it's going. And possibly because where it's going is places and research that I really love looking at. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. Secrets and Lies, significantly less fun. It's a murder mystery, it's a thriller, so lots of bad things happening to good people. Some bad things happening to bad people as well. That one, because it's set in a real place. Last Human Getaway is set in a fictional world. Well, our world, but a fictional place in our world. Secrets and Lies is set in Peachtree City in Georgia, so I'm having a lot of fun looking at maps around that area and finding places where the characters would be at different points, where they find corpses, you know, the usual the usual kind of things for a murder mystery writer. I've also been looking up poisons and sedatives, and every time I do, I'm sure I'm going to be put on some kind of government list. Or like an Interpol watch list, like do not trust this woman, she knows how to poison people. But I swear it's all for writing. It's just for writing. I've not had any time to look at the prompts for next year, which is a shame. I've started rereading one. I'm halfway through one called Whisper Market. And I like where it's going, but I don't know if I can finish it in a way that doesn't feel like it's part of a series. And I might be okay with that, I don't know. It's I wrote a piece for one of the earlier anthologies, You Are What You Eat, and I introduced these characters January and May. And I sort of revisited it in spring and I thought, I like these two. This could be a thing. So they've turned up again for Whisper Market. I think if I get enough of them and I finish any of my works in progress, they might become a proper thing at some point. We will see. I'm just about keeping pace with the NaNoWriMo target. More with the actual target this year than my own, although after this week I should have more time for it. I've been doing a lot of organising for various real life events. So I've had less time for writing, and also a couple of days this week I've just not felt up to it. There's this horrible flu-y plague thing going around. It took out basically the whole theatre club this week, so hopefully that won't come back next week. I think I'm at about 20,000 words, so I'm happy with that. I always say this, because I work with a lot of other writers and we all get together over NaNoWriMo, and we all lament the lack of words, but honestly, if you come out with more words than you went in with, or you come out with a better plan than you went in with, or a better idea of where your story's going, or you've reread all of your previous stories and you know where to start now, it's still a win. So I don't really mind if even if I just stop at 20,000 words, I'll still be happy. I'm not going to, because I'm a little bit crazy, but I'd be cool with that. Speaking of strange places that my research has taken me this week, I've been looking at Kelpies and Knicker and Knocker, or necks. The sort of freshwater water spirits of the northern European cultures. Some of them are carnivorous, some of them just eat your souls. I'm currently debating with several people whether this makes them vegetarian. I find them fascinating because they're shapeshifters, so you can have a lot of fun with that. They just turn up in so much fiction that I read as a child that I couldn't resist seeking them out myself for something I was doing myself. And I'm really enjoying the freshwater variety. Generally speaking, before the sort of 19th century, they were all male, and they would lure children to the edges of pools with amazing music and then drag them under, or they would appear as a handsome horse and a man would climb on board and they would get dragged to the nearest stretch of water and then they'd drown. Or you could save yourself by cutting whatever part of you was attached to the horse off. They're cautionary tales to keep children away from rivers and to keep young men from stealing horses. And my favourite one, which is a handsome young man with seaweed in his hair appears. He takes your hand and then he drags you down to your death. So beware, handsome strange men. The saltwater varieties are terrifying. I'll probably talk more about them at a different point because I haven't really got to them in my story yet. But so the freshwater ones drown you and they might eat your flesh and they might take your soul. But the saltwater ones, ugh. There's a couple of real doozies out there. So I've been working on that. We'll have to wait and see when we get to that part of the story. I might talk a bit more about those. Because I've been writing so much with NaNoWriMo, I've been trying to expand my writing music selection. What I normally do is I go through my iTunes, album by album, alphabetically, so I don't have to think about what I'm listening to. I got a bit bored of that at the moment, so I've gone onto Spotify, and yesterday I discovered my favourite name of a playlist ever, which is Lute Music for Alchemists. I haven't given it a try yet, but it's on my list. I really like the autumn music and the writers' playlists for writing. Also the gaming playlist, because they're all quite epic, sort of big battle-y type music, and that works for certain parts of the writing. One of the things I've been reading this week, I started Georgette Heyer's Pharaoh's Daughter last week, and I haven't got further than a page because I got distracted, which happens with me when I read sometimes. And I started reading the AA Treasures of Britain directory from 1968, which is interesting to me in several ways because I used to be an archaeologist. You never really stop being one, so I am an archaeologist. So there's loads of sites and places of interest that I'm aware of, and some of the ones in the directory have gone now, and other ones have been discovered, and we know different things about them. So it's fascinating to me to look at what there was then and what there is now. I'm very impressed with their maps. I've not seen this before. They've organised the maps in a way. Like this is total map geekery, total old book, old map geekery. It's got a great cover also. So most of the book is like a directory of famous places and famous things. They've got a section at the back for famous people, but it's cut out. You can see that it doesn't quite fit. It's not the same length. And the reason they've done this is because each map page has a little flap with some extra information in it. But what it means is this bit of map, when you turn the page, becomes this bit of the next map. So you never lose a place anywhere in the crease. I've been looking at maps for years. I think this is genius. I don't know why we still don't do it. There you go. Bit of a geek when it comes to maps. I'm quite looking forward to the book launch. We've got a local band, May Contain Notes, who I've seen perform several times, friends with one of the members. They're going to come and support us and give us some music at the end of each half, and we're going to do some readings. And we're going to live stream it. So if you want to join us for the book launch and you're not in Yorkshire, you can go online in the Facebook group entitled Short Story Superstars on the 23rd. There will be a live stream from 7 o'clock GMT onwards. And I believe that will be saved on that site so you can still access it. You can actually still access last year's book launch if you go on that page. So yeah, it's all go for launch. I have a copy. It's a brick. I'm well impressed. You go through and you think, oh, this is quite long this year. This is a lot of stuff. And then you go, oh, but it'll be fine. Compared to the other ones, I'm sure they would be the same length. Nope, this one's huge. So this is functioning as intended. This is the third anthology of the Superstars. I am exceptionally proud of these guys. Every year they surprise me with where they go with their stories, and every year they get better. There's a huge range of things in this one. We've got 20 authors this year, 3 artists. Something like 89 stories, I think, and poems. 594 pages of chaos right here. From next Friday, from the 23rd, you will be able to get it from Amazon as a paperback and as an ebook. You can get it from iBooks, Kobo, Nook, Barnes & Noble and Smashwords. So yeah, pick up a copy, spread the word. If you like it, give us a review. If you don't like it, give us a review. We'll listen. Yeah. So I'm going to head off now. You may have heard in the background my cat is desperately meowing at me to let him outside, despite the fact he just came in and went out again and came in again and went out again. And then I'm going to get back into, what am I doing today? Secrets and Lies. So more murder and mayhem for me. Catch you next week. Have a good one.